Okay, let's start with these first example 3, 4, and 5. This is from your notes. If you'll notice, it is from 3, 3. So this is the one you were asking me about. It's 5, 3, I think, on your homework. Now this is not the homework problem, so this is the notes. So we're going to go through and work these, but they're exactly the same. Now, 3, 3, if you'll remember, was root form. And so your basic formula you want to work from is y equals a times x minus root 1 times x minus root 2. And in each of these problems you're given two roots. Might be called a solution, might be called a root. And you figure out what you're going to call. Okay, so we're going to say, for this one example, here's your first root, and here's your second root. And so root 1 is going to be negative 2. Root 2 is going to be 3. And then we have this y-intercept here. That's a point, and we're going to use that to find a. Okay, so that's a point. And that point is, because it's on the y-axis, it's 0, negative 12. Okay? And the reason we have that, anything for that, is we're going to use that piece of information to find a. Okay? Alright, so we're going to go through here, and first we take our root 1 and root 2 and put it in this basic formula. So we have y equals a. We have x minus, now we said our root 1 was a negative 2, so it's minus negative 2. And x minus, and root 2 was 3. So we're going to put root 2 in there, which is 3. Now if you notice with your negative root, what that does is make it a positive. So our factors look like they change signs from our roots. So we have a times x plus 2 times x minus 3. Now we're going to replace some things to find a. Now we're going to find a, but we're going to take our x and we're going to replace that x here and here with this x from our point over here. Okay? And we're going to replace our y value, okay, with this negative 12. And the y value in our problem is right here. Okay? So, let's do that. We're going to put in, we're going to say negative 12 is equal to a times 0 plus 2 times 0 minus 3. And we've just replaced our x and our y with those values from that point. Now the only variable we have is a, and we can solve for it. So we have negative 12 is equal to a times 2 times negative 3. Okay, and so that's going to be negative 6a is equal to negative 12. And then when I divide by negative 6, we want to divide this by negative 6, so we end up with just 1a. Negative 12 over negative 6 is positive 2, so a is equal to 2. And now we have everything we need for our answer. We have our roots and we have a. Okay, so now let's just show, let's do some more highlighting here. Maybe that'll help. We're going to put our roots, which are this and this, the negative 2 and the 3. We've already put those in here and here, right? And then we're going to put a in. A is 2, so we're going to put that in there, okay, for those a's. And this is the formula that we're going to use, though. We're going to use it with the x's and y's. So our final formula is we have an equation, so we have y equals 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 3. And that's our answer, because the question is, if you look here, write the equation of this function. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this one. That's if you're given the roots, which is the homework that I was asked about. Okay, let's look at this one. Instead of roots, see the word in the first example 3 was roots. Now we have x-intercepts, but that means the same thing. So we have a root 1, and we have a root 2, and we have a y-intercept, which is a point 0, 6. Okay? So again, first we put our roots in. Y is equal to a times x minus 4, that's your root 1, times x plus 4, that's your root 2, because that's minus a negative 4. Then we use this for our x and y. I'm not highlighting this because I did it before. For the y, we put in the 6. We're going to figure out what a is. Put in a 0 for the x's. Okay. And so we end up with 0 equals a times negative 4 times positive 4, because 0 plus those are the same numbers. That's going to be negative 16a equals 6. Then we're going to divide by the negative 16. Okay, so a then is negative 6 over 16. Now we need to reduce that. It'll divide by 2, so that'll be negative 3/8. Each one will divide by 2. So my final equation, y equals negative 3/8 times x minus 4 times x plus 4. And that's the final answer. The last example from the notes was, instead of roots or x-intercepts, we called it zeros, but it's still roots. So here's our root 1, here's our root 2, and this is a y-intercept, so the point is 0, negative 1. Okay, put it in the equation. Y equals a x minus root 1, so x minus a negative 3 is x plus 3. I'll write that there. That's how we get that. Minus a negative 3. Okay. And then x minus 2. So our root, you see, is in parentheses. And so if it's a positive root, it ends up with a minus in the factor. All right, use the point to replace our x and y. So we have negative 1 equals a times 0 plus 3 times 0 minus 2, which is negative 6a. So that's negative 1 over negative 6, which is going to end up being positive 1/6 for a. So now we know a, and we know both our roots. Our equation is y equals 1/6 x plus 3 x minus 2. And that's how you work those type of problems from homework 5-3.